Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by PkmnTrainerJ. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress. Listen each week for the latest news, updates and rumours. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a voice message or emailing us at the links in the show notes.
Additional intel available.
Hello agents, and welcome to episode 105 of the Ingress Insights podcast. In this week's episode, we're going over the Plus Delta campaign Rezo, which is ending today as this podcast, as well as possible tweaks to Second Sunday, which is coming up next weekend, and then Level 8 week, which has already started, and a little bit of detail about Recon, and then any other Ingress news that's come up in the meantime. Before I get into all of that, I just want to give an update on my progress on the game for the week. So I'm now at 6,613,398 AP. I need 7 million to get to level 15, so that's not going to be very much. It'll be the third time for me at level 15. And then after that, going to level 16 and then recursing again, because I just like to keep going. So it shouldn't take me too long. I may even be level 15 by the time we get to next week's episode. If you want to share your progress and how you're getting on, please do that in the comments. But for now, I'll go into the Plus Delta news updates.
This is Jessica Jung, lead producer of Peridot, and you are listening to Ingress Insights.
Today, as you're listening to the podcast on the 3rd of August, it's the last day of the Plus Delta campaign Rezo. This started on the 19th of July 2025 at 12 AM local time, and it concludes today, 3rd of August at 11:59 PM local time. This is where you've had a series of tasks in your scanner and the dispatch for deploying resonators, destroying resonators, making fields, and getting Delta Rezo up points. As said, this does conclude today on the 3rd of August, so anything that you do after that isn't going to be counted towards the points. Looking at it as I'm recording this late on the 2nd of August for myself, it's showing the campaign is 49.62 enlightened, with resistance slightly lead at 50.4. Could all change and rebalance, but it's probably not far off the final score there. And then obviously you'll get the delta points you get on there, and there are 100 season points that are distributed. So if we end up at 49.50, it'll be 49 points to enlighten, 50 to resistance, that kind of thing. And they're all round to one decimal place. The Ingress team say they'll announce the results within a week of it concluding. So hopefully there'll be a post scheduled by next week that will get the details on there, but we'll be able to monitor and see. So if you've not done it all, do try and get what you can, help your faction out and earn those points. The most points you get is 10 points for deploying a level 8 resonator or upgrading a resonator with a level 8 resonator, both worth 10 points. So if you're a little bit off and you can do that and then move on to the next assignment, you're best doing that before the end of today. That's all there really is for Plus Delta news. There's not details on the the field op yet that we've got coming up. And we're a little ways away from the XM anomalies in Malacca City, Malaysia and Portland, Oregon. They're on the 16th of August. So there'll be more details close to the time on that. So I'll move into general Ingress news now.
This is Shimon, former community manager for the Witcher Monster Slayer, and you're listening to Ingress Insights.
It's a bit hard to know where to start on the general Ingress news because there's been little tidbits here and there from everywhere for Ingress this week. I think I'll start with the fact that Level 8 week is running now. So it started on the 1st of August at 5 PM UTC, runs until the 11th of August, 5 PM UTC. And just a reminder that you'll currently be getting double AP on all actions. If you use an Apex, that will go to triple AP. So running an Apex during Level 8 week is now rewarding 6 times AP. You can deploy 2 level 8 resonators and deploy 4 portal mods. And drone cooldown is 8 minutes. You can work on that badge and move your drone around. And then getting a successful glyph on your glyph hack will reward 80 AP. And the overclock glyph hack duration is extended to 80 seconds. There is, again, the experimental weapon tuning that we've seen. This is increasing the damage of your XMPs if you hold the fire button down to 30%. Rather than 20%, so that's a nice little extra there. We have had it a few times, don't know how experimental it is anymore, whether they're going to maybe add that on as a proper feature at some point, or just say what it is during events rather than experimental weapon tuning. We all know what it is. And if you're a core subscriber, there are the level 8 badges to pick up on the score. I assume they're 2,500 CMU each. I haven't been able to check that yet. But that runs, as I said, until the 11th of August, 5 p.m. UTC. This is quite handy with the Reso event that's going on, because obviously you can deploy more level 8 resonators per portal now. So if you are in need of those few extra points, doing this on the final day of the final day of the op during level 8 week is a great way to do it and get those extra points on there. I know it will certainly help me finish off the 400,000 or so AP that I need to get to the next level. Should be, I say, hopefully done by next week. If not, I'm probably doing something wrong in Ingress. Next Sunday on the 10th of August is, of course, second Sunday for Ingress. So that's where you can earn a ticket on your second Sunday medal by doing one of the challenges on there. In a previous episode, I talked about how agents complained about Machina disappearing and how that made it impossible to do one of the challenges for second Sunday. And Brian Rose did interject on there and say the team would discuss it. He did share an update on Twitter on the 26th of July saying our team talked about agent feedback after second Sunday and we're in the progress of making tweaks. I'll share more next week after we do more testing. So whether it's ready for next week for August 2nd Sunday or whether it's then going for September 2nd Sunday, I don't know. I don't know what kind of tweaks there'll be, but the feedback has been taken on board and discussed by the team, so at least that's good. Personally, I've got all my scans saved up, I think, until October, maybe November for second Sunday. Obviously, as long as no one else comes along and scans them a bunch of times, I've got a couple of extra ones just in case that happens. But I should be good for at least October, I think, for the scans that I've got, just in case I don't get a chance to go out. I've got young children, I may not get a chance to go out on a Sunday. So I always like to have a backup there to make sure I can still get my badge. And then finally, there's been a change to the daily items that you get in Ingress. So if you don't know, if you go on Ingress and check the store, there are some items that you can claim every day for absolutely zero cost. For most of them, you need to scroll way down into the shop menu just above the apexes. And what there used to be there is a free level 8 power cube and 2 level 4 power cubes to claim, again costing 0 CMU. The level 8 power cube is still there to claim, you can claim that. However, there's been a change that at the moment, right at the top of the store, is advertised as free daily item and it's one free resonator at your level. So if you're level 8 and above, it's a level 8 resonator. If you're lower than that, say you're level 6, it's a level 6 resonator. Level 4 is a level 4 resonator. So again, something very useful to claim in these final days of the op and get your extra points on there. But that's just handy to have as well. Some people I've seen complain about the level 4 power cubes disappearing as a way to get extra XM. I didn't find them all that useful. Just turn them into hypercubes and I hack enough stuff anyway that I don't need that many hypercubes, but always handy to have some. Niantic haven't announced the change to the free daily items, but I didn't suspect that they would. I also wonder whether it will change each month or each anomaly season as to what we get free on there, because obviously the level 8 resonator is handy for the current op. Maybe there'll be something that's more useful for the next op or for plus betas global ops that changes on there more useful. But of course, the main reason it's in the store is to make you visit the store every day so you look and see what's on offer and maybe you purchase something, maybe you purchase CMU. I don't know whether that will really work on agents, but that was obviously the intention behind it. If you are a core subscriber, you also get a free item, a kinetic capsule every month. If you're recast 5 times, I believe you still get a free hypercube every month as well. So I guess that's always nice. Not really worth the 5 recurses, but nice to get something. But I don't think there's anything beyond that. So if you recurse 10, 15 times, it's still just a hypercube for you. That's about it for general Ingress news. I've got a little bit of news about Recon that I'll go into next.
Hi, this is HP Lola, and you're listening to the Ingress Insights podcast.
As I covered in the last episode and the bonus episode, Wayfarer doesn't really matter to Ingress agents anymore. Where we want to focus is Recon, which is coming soon, we keep being told. But I messaged Brian and the Ingress team on Blue Sky and just said on the podcast account, any updates on when we'll get Recon at ingress.com at brianrose.bsky.social. As it's been 2 months since it was initially announced, I'm hopeful there'll be an update soon. Also, will we have challenges? Will we have things like OPR live challenges, a Recon forum, and other things that we're used to within Wayfarer? The Ingress team quoted the post and replied to it, and they noted, we need to build a new version of what was previously Wayfarer. It would take us a while. Operation Portal Recon, OPR, is coming, and we'll share an updated timeline when we get close to launch. So whilst that doesn't really answer the things about OPR live challenges, Recon forum, and things like that, upgrades, as I mentioned, had been removed on the Recon help pages. It does acknowledge that it is coming. It sounds like it's a little further behind than I thought. What I thought is they'd have basically copy-pasted Wayfarer and made changes, tweaked their system, because it sounds like that's what they've done from the help pages. But they've mentioned they need to build a new version of what was previously Wayfarer, so maybe they've got bits and bobs and not the whole thing. So it's probably next year now, I would guess. I'd thought maybe it'd be Q4, but if they've got to build things up and get more things in, then I guess for now it's just submit and wait and see what happens. It's a bit weird for me doing some double submits on Ingress and Pokemon Go. The Pokemon Go thing gets approved within a couple of days. The Ingress one is sat there for months now with nothing happening. So hopefully when it does kick off, they get processed pretty quickly and there's some new portals that appear. It's very weird not seeing new portals come up on the map at all, especially when there's loads that I know should be going on and should be coming live in areas. But I'm also concerned about how long it will take to get things reviewed, because when it was just Ingress agents reviewing, it could be up to 2 years. Then they opened the floodgates to Pokemon Go trainers, and there's more Pokemon Go trainers than there are Ingress agents. So it meant that we had more people reviewing, things went through quicker, and it also left out any selection bias when it was Pokemon Go trainers reviewing a lot of it rather than Ingress agents. So I'm curious how they'll control that again in future, because that was something that ran rife for a little while when I first started OPR. So people would know it was your area and whether to reject things there because it was enlightened areas or resistance areas and not allow them in extra portals. Or I still don't get this thinking that some people are like, no, this portal's too close, there'll be too much of a cluster there, and it doesn't matter as long as it's a legitimate portal, then approve it. But I don't know, that's what I think with coming from Wayfair and going through all that stuff on there, and obviously doing my time as a Wayfarer ambassador, just approving things if they meet. I don't care about checking about distance, things like that. Are they legitimate, acceptable? Yes, tick, carry on. I don't care if it's in an enlightened area, in a resistance area, anything like that. As long as it doesn't meet rejection criteria and it's all acceptable and all good, then tick, yeah, that's it, carry on. But that's all we've really got for Recon. And I've not really been tracking updates for Wayfarer. The only thing that I'll mention here is that the Pokemon Go level for Wayfarer dropped from 37 to 35. So that'll scoop up a few extra users on there, adding things to the map. But again, those won't sync across to Ingress, even if they do get added on there. Ingress had its level drop for Wayfarer, which is now reflected in Recon from 10 to 8. Or the Recon help pages say level 8 stuff for Ingress. So that'll be the level for using Recon. But that's really it. This is a little bit of information, but not a lot. Maybe we'll see more from Recon when we get the updated timeline from the Ingress team. That's all I've really got for this episode. We're a bit light on news this week. Hopefully we'll get more next week, but it is second Sunday next weekend as well, so I'm always looking forward to that. So I'll move on now to get things wrapped up.
Hey there, this is Jeff James, game designer from Marvel World of Heroes, and you're listening to Ingress Insights.
Thank you, agents, for listening to this week's episode. Next week, as I mentioned, is second Sunday, so we're keen to see if anything has changed on there. And we'll also be steadily progressing through level 8 week and have the results for the first global op officially from Niantic. And then we are getting close to the XM anomalies coming up at the end of, middle of the month and nearly the end of the month. And then the final global campaign for the Plus Delta op, the field one, rather than Rezo one. And then whatever else we get from Niantic, there'll probably be another app update soon that sorts out a few little bugs, but I'm expecting it may be another quiet week on there for Ingress news as they start to shift things around for Spatial, get things all sorted on their end for that. That said, thank you for listening, agents. Happy hacking, have a great Sunday, and hope you get ready for second Sunday next week as well. Thank you, agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to help the podcast out, you can do that in a few ways. So first of all, rating the podcast on the podcast service you're listening to is always a great help, as well as leaving any comments on YouTube or Spotify if you're able to do that if you're listening on those channels. Ingress Insights also has a merch store over at tpublic.com/user/ingress-insights, where you can pick up badges and pins and t-shirts with the Ingress Insights logo on, and a few other little bits. There's also the Ko-fi store page, which has previous episodes of the podcast if you want to download those. They'll be out in batches over the next few months. You can also follow us on social media. So the main one we use is Instagram, which is under the name ingress.insights. And we also have a Blue Sky and a Threads, which you can find linked on the show notes to follow on there. If you have any feedback or episodes you'd like to see, or bonus episodes, things you want to cover, or you want to come on and chat about your experience playing Ingress, do let me know. You can contact us via email as well. And the email address is just ingressinsights@gmail.com. So you can send us anything there, voice messages, things you want me to discuss in future episodes, or anything you think I've missed and need to cover next time. Thank you again for listening, agents. Hope you have a great day and happy hacking.
Intel package transferred.